You know what's actually dangerous? Not rudeness, not shouting, not open conflict, but polite phrases that somehow leave you feeling smaller, like you've just been put in your place, but technically nothing bad was said. And that's the trap. When someone is openly harsh with you, it's easy to spot. But when they're smiling, calm, even seemingly kind, you start doubting yourself. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe I'm just too sensitive. Maybe they didn't mean anything by it. I used to think that too. I'd walk away from conversations with this strange feeling, like I'd been pricked by something, but I couldn't say where. The words seemed fine, the tone was calm, yet I felt irritated, ashamed, weakened, and then I finally understood. There are phrases people use to quietly lower your status. Not always on purpose, but the effect is the same. You start justifying yourself, scrambling, over-explaining, trying to win back respect that no one had the right to take in the first place. Today I'm going to show you 5 of those phrases, the most common ones, the most uncomfortable ones, and most importantly, how to respond to them without sounding aggressive, but without giving up your ground either. Because strength isn't about being the loudest voice in the room. Strength is about not letting someone else's words knock you off your foundation. Let's get into it. Number 1, come on, don't be offended. I was just joking. This one is a classic. Someone takes a shot at you, makes a jab, says something cutting in front of others. You react, and immediately you get, oh, relax. I was just kidding. Why are you so serious? Don't be so sensitive. And just like that, the whole thing flips. Suddenly, it's not about what they said. Suddenly, the problem is you, your reaction, your feelings, your thin skin. It's a very convenient little trick. First, they land the hit, then they make you feel guilty for feeling it. And most people break right here. They laugh along, pretend everything's fine, just to avoid looking difficult. I did the same thing. When someone made a dig at my expense, I'd smile, even while cringing inside. I thought that if I set a boundary, I'd look weak, oversensitive, awkward. But you know what actually looks weak? Letting people do whatever they want with you, just to keep the mood light. Here's the right response. Short, calm, no drama. That joke didn't land. That's it. No lecture, no blow up, no 5-minute explanation of why it bothered you. Just name what happened. Or try this. If that was a joke, it wasn't a good one, then go quiet. The important thing, don't start defending your reaction, because in that moment, they're not testing your sense of humor. They're testing whether they can poke you and then make you apologize for the pain. Number 2, you're way too sensitive. This one is slippery because it sounds reasonable, like the person isn't attacking you. They're diagnosing you calmly, confidently, from a position of superiority. And if you're not sure of yourself, this phrase hits its target instantly. You start wondering, maybe they're right, maybe I am overreacting, maybe the problem isn't their behavior, maybe it's me. Now, to be fair, yes, sometimes you might actually be reacting too sharply. That happens. But very often, this phrase is used by people who simply don't want to be accountable for their own behavior. It's easier to declare you too emotional than to admit they were rude, disrespectful, or out of line. Instead of addressing the actual issue, they're now analyzing your psychology. That's convenient, and it's manipulative. What do you say? Here's my favorite. I'm reacting normally. This specific thing doesn't work for me. That's a powerful line, because you're not arguing about your personality. You're bringing the conversation back to the actual event, not I'm like this or you're like that. Just this particular thing doesn't work for me, or even simpler. It's not about the reaction, it's about what you said. Again, no long explanations. People who want to destabilize you love dragging the conversation sideways. Don't follow them. Bring it back to the point. What happened? What was said? What doesn't work for you? A calm, grounded person doesn't defend their sensitivity. They just name the boundary. Number 3, I never said that. This is where it gets really uncomfortable, because this isn't just an emotional hit, it's an attack on your reality. You clearly remember the conversation. You remember the tone, the meaning, how you felt afterward, and you're told that didn't happen. You twisted it. I meant something completely different. You made that up. If this happens regularly, a person starts losing their footing. You're no longer sure you're hearing things correctly, understanding them correctly, or even feeling things correctly. That's a very destabilizing place to be, because now you're not arguing with the other person. You're arguing with your own memory. The biggest mistake here is frantically trying to prove your case, recounting every word, every moment, every detail, because someone who refuses to own what they said will almost never cave under your arguments. They'll just make things more confusing. What do you say instead? Try this. That's how I heard it. Or, okay, that's how it came across. That's a really mature position. You're not trying to get inside their head and prove their intentions. You're speaking to your own experience of what happened. That's nearly impossible to dismiss, because you're not saying, you definitely meant to hurt me. You're saying, for me, it landed this way. And then you can add, which is exactly why I'm responding the way I am. Calm, steady, no panic. You're not there to win a courtroom battle. You're there to not surrender your own reality. Number 4, you're overcomplicating everything. This phrase is often used to shut down any conversation that feels uncomfortable. You bring up something important, a boundary, an agreement, a pattern of disrespect, and the response is, ugh, why do you have to make everything so complicated? Why are you starting this? Just relax. Don't turn this into a problem. On the surface, it sounds almost wise, breezy, easygoing, but what it's really saying is this conversation is inconvenient for me, so let's pretend the problem doesn't exist. This isn't about simplicity. This is about avoidance. Mature people aren't afraid to clarify. Not every conversation has to be heavy, sure, but if something keeps happening, if something keeps bothering you, if tension keeps building, that's not you overcomplicating things. That's a reality someone doesn't want to look at. How do you respond? Simple. I'm not overcomplicating it. I'm clarifying it. That's a strong line because there's no attack in it and no apology either. Just a position. Or try, if we don't talk about it now, it'll be worse later. Works beautifully. People who are used to leaving things unsaid will often call maturity drama, but clarity isn't drama. Clarity is respect for yourself and for the relationship. Number 5, you're smart. You should already know. This might be the most toxic phrase on the list, dressed up as a compliment. It almost sounds nice. You're smart, you're a grown-up, you get it, you see how things are, but almost always what comes next is this. They're expecting something from you without ever making it clear. No honest conversation, no stated expectations, no direct communication. Instead, they want you to read their mind, and then if you don't guess correctly, you're the one at fault. How could you not understand? A very convenient setup. No directness, no specifics, but somehow you're still guilty. What do you say? Here's the perfect response. I don't like guessing. Just tell me directly. A beautifully grown-up line. It cuts through the fog immediately, or if you need something, say it out loud. This is a core principle. In healthy relationships, people don't read minds, they use their words. They clarify, they state, they agree. When someone constantly expects you to guess, that's not intimacy. That's a system designed to keep you feeling perpetually at fault. And here's the most important thing. The problem isn't the phrases themselves. The problem is that they make you lose your center in an instant. You start scrambling, over-explaining, justifying, softening, laughing when it's not funny, doubting when everything is actually clear. And that's what breaks you in a conversation. Not the other person's words, but how quickly you abandon your own sense of things just to avoid tension. Strong people don't win every single conversation. They don't always have the perfect comeback, but they do one crucial thing. They don't give up their inner footing just because someone else sounds confident. That's why these responses work. They're short, they're unhurried, they're not trying to make everyone happy, they're not trying to convert a manipulator. They simply communicate, that's not how you talk to me. Let's do a quick recap. If someone says, don't be offended, I was just joking, respond, that joke didn't land. If someone says, you're too sensitive, respond, it's not about the reaction, it's about what was said. If someone says, I never said that, respond, that's how I heard it. If someone says, you're overcomplicating everything, respond, I'm not overcomplicating it, I'm clarifying it. If someone says, you're smart, you should already know, I respond, I don't like guessing. Say it directly. That's all. You don't need 10 different tactics. You don't need to become cold or harsh. You just need one thing, to not lose yourself under pressure. Pick one of these responses today, just one, and use it the next time you'd normally stumble, over-explain, or start doubting yourself. You'll notice something interesting very quickly. People start speaking to you differently, not because you got tougher, but because you stopped being an easy target. If this kind of content resonates with you, subscribe and drop a comment telling me which of these phrases you hear most often. I'll make the next video around that one.